I am writing a paper on Netflix originals for class English. Alright, let me go. A lot of tabs trying to be opened. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go to Google, and I'm going to just a quick search to all my subjects. I'm clicking on Reddit. Even though this might not be the best source, it's good to see what people are saying about it just to get a start. See here already I can see, though it may not be true, clicking on the next link. And what I do is I hit Control F when I'm on a big web page so I can search specific words. It says there's 3 of the word I'm looking for. See, here's a big one. We fold in program production in conjunction with or acquired from. We've marked those shows accordingly. Right now, these shows give a bigger boost to Netflix overall tally through, though by next year it's still expected to have more originals than HBO or FX. So there are more Netflix originals than HBO and FX at the time. See, right now I'm just collecting information on my topic so I have more to write about. Just to get an idea. And usually I'll have a notepad open next to me, and I can write down the name of the websites that I come across that I find I can come back to later. As you can see here, Netflix started at the bottom and then grew a crazy amount from 2014 to 15. And even now, this website, let's see. Yeah, this was 2000. What was this? Oh, yeah, this was 2015. So even now, I've seen even more of a rise in Netflix originals than my HBO and FX count. Here's a good thing to look at. Why is Netflix producing original content? See, I can actually relate to this here. See, right here is something I usually have. I do my research on a Mac, and I have a Notes app open, and I would copy this website, and I would put it into my notes, and then I would let's say this is something right here. I'll list 3 reasons why Netflix is making original content. Let's see who Ball is. Matthew Ball. Matthew Ball has a long examination of economics and Netflix original content, looking at a show by show level. See, now this has brought me to another web page. See, these are the facts that would be very good for me to put in my paper, which I would put into my notes with here, and then later on I would go into a tab of EasyBib and put in the website, and then but normally, since I have all my notes of the web pages, I don't go into EasyBib to finalize citing my source until the very end of my paper. Probably should start doing it the other way around, but I haven't done that yet. Yeah, see for sure. This is a website I would be copying here. See, looking here is the number one reason that they release Netflix originals is retaining current subscribers that the service is constantly on the verge of losing. And they even put a graph here. Depending on the paper, I could put that graph in. It's good to put in my notes just to be safe, so I can look back at something. And though I can't get any good information from it, it's good to look at the comments of the articles too, to see what people are saying. Terrific analysis, thank you. Here the writer is saying that his calculations and playbacks were all based on the current global subscriber base. So after I would bookmark that in my notes, I'll look a little more around. Usually what I start doing is read a little bit online, get a good idea about what I'm writing about, and then I kind of start fooling around with my intro, and then when I get stuck on my intro, I start planning out my entire paper more. Kind of do it in a weird order. So here it says Netflix has big plans to produce more original series. They're saying they will double it by the next year. And also, what I would do is on the subject, I would go in and figure out. For example, I know a lot of. There's like, for example, there's a new Netflix original out, um, and what's it called? Oh yeah, Master of None is the name of it. What got me thinking was he was interviewed about it, and he hadn't. I think it's, how do you pronounce it? Aziz Ansari. He had an idea for a show, and then the first person he went to, the first provider he went to was Netflix, and they immediately said yes to his offer and funded him for the full show, and it just got released. I'm trying to figure out how I would word it. It would be a good example to put into the paper. Trying to up in pitch. Why Aziz Ansari took Master of None to Netflix. See, this relates to my subject, but it's not really facts about it. This is kind of like an extra fluff I can put in. Here's why Master of None landed with Netflix. In parentheses, in Anzi's words. Creative freedom. We pitched only to a premium spots because we didn't want to deal with content issues. He goes on to say, on Netflix we never had one issue with content. Also, no need to edit to commercials, which was great. Viewers can have it all. He just goes through, has all these things he can cut to. Most importantly, though, Netflix really believed in us over anyone else and told us that they wanted to go straight to series and do 10 episodes. No pilot development process. They just go straight to 10 episodes. So that is something I could quote. This is the businessinsider.com. So I would go in and I would figure out, I would copy and paste, and I'd put a little snippet in my notes so I can go back to it, and I would have the link. Maybe it'd be good to get another, maybe I know Arrested Development was big. One of the first. How'd I do?
I'm writing a paper on performance enhancing drugs for a class in health. the first place I'm going to look for information on is Google to see if there's been any recent stories on performance enhancing drugs. I'm going to look in the news section. Just going to look at facts about it. After I look at the facts, I'm going to go back to the news section. Look at people that have recently got in trouble for it. Then I'm going to go to Georgia Southern Library. And find the Galileo. If I can find it. Now I'm going to look for articles on performance enhancing drugs that are scholarly and peer reviewed. I click on this article, academic journal, is peer reviewed, so I know it's true. Actually, it's not there. I'm going to do the full text only. I would use this source because it is peer reviewed and it gives a great background on performance enhancing drugs and lets people know what the effects are. I would copy and paste that link into a Word document to save it and note where I got my information from. Click on this because it has an argument against performance enhancing drugs, so it might show two sides. would use this article because it shows someone's argument against performance enhancing drugs and how they would create more problems with using them. And I would save that in the same Word document as the last one so I would know where I got it from. I chose this article because it has psychological effects of performance enhancing drugs instead of just physical effects. Now I'm going to look for information on Google Scholar. I'm going to search people that are for performance enhancing drugs. Clicking on this article because it shows it is saying why we should allow performance enhancing drugs in the sport, which is an opposing view to some. And I would copy this link and put it with the other two. This is another commentary on towards responsible use of cognitive enhancing drugs by the healthy. So, not just steroids, other drugs too that are performance enhancing. I would use this article to portray another view on the whole subject. I would write a summarization of these articles first and take down key notes from all of them. Then create an outline and write my paper. Then go back and cite my sources correctly from the document earlier. And create a bibliography using the links I have, and then write my paper. Alright, I think I'm done.
Okay, so I am writing a paper on the effectiveness of a particular ad by a Gucci fragrance line called Gucci Guilty. Um, and this is for an English 1101 class. Wow. Apparently, I can't spell Google. Great. What is this? Okay. Okay. So it is for these two ads in particular, which appeared in Vogue magazine. Um, alright, so the first place I usually look for information is Google. I mean, simply because of the fact that, I don't know, I just like variety. Um, let's see, I begin my research process by determining my standpoint and like what my argument is. So, my argument is that the ad is effective due to um, their advertisement team's use of rhetorical appeals to pathos. So, any time that an advertisement is made, they're trying to basically aim for their consumers psychologically when it comes to pathos. Uh, yeah, because pathos is in fact one of the strongest rhetorical appeals. And let's see. I'm going to trying to think. Research something in the topic of psychology that's related to pathos. Oh, what is this? Okay, bye bye. Um, okay, alright. We're gonna look up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, however you pronounce it. Okay, and I'm gonna click on this first one rather than the Wikipedia one. I know that one's not reliable, but I like this website in particular. I feel like this is gonna be a good one. One because it's .org. Um, all right. So I'm not gonna read all of this because I'm already familiar with the topic. Basically, the hierarchy of needs is a model that indicates all the fundamentals of what a human being needs to reach self-actualization. And included in that is a social aspect, which is you can see right here. And this includes basically love, self-esteem, being around others, being accepted, feeling wanted by others. Um, so I would probably include the definition or like what exactly the hierarchy of needs is and like quote the definition. Um, and then I probably like cite this source in particular by copy and pasting this link and going to EasyBit. Ah, okay. And I am copying and pasting its URL. And it does it all for me. Well, I still have to enter a little bit more information. Okay, so data access, publisher. Okay, it tells me the year it was published. Let's see if we can find who actually published this. Usually that's at the bottom. Oh, well, this site basically already gives you the APA style citation. Okay, but usually I do use EasyBit, so, but in this case, forget that. Yeah, that's how I would cite the definition that I'm going to use from this page to define Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the reason why I'm including this particular definition is because it's basically a well trusted psychological theory um, that is still used today and it's been used for a really long time. So I know it's credible. And it basically just shows that human beings are emotional beings and that the people that created the Gucci Guilty ad was effective at ultimately accomplishing their goal of making, I guess, the most sales by appealing emotionally to their target market, which is men and women ranging from adolescence to, I would say, middle adulthood. So, yeah, that's how I do it. And usually, like, to keep up with all my sources, I would open up a Word document and basically, like, copy and paste all of the URLs that I go to that I decide to use so that I could go back later on and, just transfer them to EasyBib or, if it's actually a hard copy book or something, which I usually don't use. But yeah, so that's basically what I do. Find my argument, find something that supports it, something that's credible, not just anything. And then I cite it and I make sure that I include, I guess, kind of like I restate it in a way, like in words of my own after I cite it, just to, let the readers know that I understand it. Um, I guess you could say I paraphrase it. And yeah, that's about it.